Yeah, good morning here. Sveno Mick from Sveno Mick. Just got my cap out of my car because I don't want my head out in the, oh, it's not sun, but we've had a lot of rain here in Maloney, southeast Queensland overnight. Hasn't been record amounts, but we've had, in the last 4 days, we've had, I'd say 8 inches of rain, so 200 mil. Rain gauge is overflowing, so we might have had around that or a bit more. There's the old ute, the BA. She's running like a champion. And gee, it's good to have a car that doesn't leak. A lot of my cars over the years have leaked because they've been older vehicles. And when that's all you can afford, that's all you can afford. But real quick one. Real quick video this morning. So we've had not records amount of rain in just north of Gympie. The Bruce Highway up that way, up towards Apple Tree Creek, and that Bruce Highway's cut. Look at my XB GT t-shirt, isn't it a beauty? I love the old XB Falcons, 2 doors and 4 doors. I'm a bit of a 4-door man because I just think they're more practical. Always like 4-door cars and utilities. And these day and age, 1-tonners, aluminium trays. So I'll put an aluminium tray on me BA there before too much longer, hopefully. I'm going to find a good one at a reasonable price. Yeah, so we've had, I think they've had up that way, the third most amount of rain. They've had around about the 650 mil. So you're looking at about 2 feet of rain. I think that was in 24 hours. So that's a lot of rain. They've got the Bruce Highway, which is the main highway heading north, areas that have been washed away, and that's a high traffic, high volume main highway heading north in Australia. Takes a lot of freight. You've got a lot of reasonable sized cities up there, Rockhampton, Mackay, Townsville, Cairns, and that's just up the east coast. But they've got all the inland roads and that, so that's all no drama. A lot of freight goes up through there actually too, probably more so up the inland roads, the heavy stuff. So yeah, there's millions and millions of dollars worth of damage done. I haven't heard of any deaths so far, so that's great. People are switched onto it these days. So what am I going to talk about? Oh yes, quickly, dreams. I'm going to do a series of dreams. Stories of dreams. Now, I don't know, I talk to different people, and not most people, people that I talk to can't remember their dreams real vividly. I can, and some of the dreams I have are actually quite disturbing, very violent dreams. I've talked to my psychologist about it. I'm not a violent person at all. Of course, I'll defend myself, always defend myself, but basically for me to be violent to someone, they've really got to throw a punch on me. I won't, until I'm starting to get assaulted, I won't react unless I'm being assaulted. And I'm getting too old for that now too. Back in the younger day, you'd have a bit of a fisticuff that never worried you at all. But as you get older, you're just not what you used to be. So, but anyhow, getting back to these dreams, violent dreams. 2 in particular. One I've probably had for, I'd say, 25 to 30 years. An aircraft crashing at North Maloney. Now I grew up at North Maloney, and I talked to a psychologist about it, and I can explain it exactly. So I go out North Maloney Road, heading towards the Broom Pocket Dam or the golf course. So heading out, and my family used to live about a kilometre out of town, and you would come to the T section, and left was Broom Pocket, to the Broom Pocket area when I was a little fella. Well, not a little fella, pre 1990, 1985 to 1990, we'll say 1990. Left to Broom Pocket, we used to camp down there as kids. Nice farming area, a lot of clay, so a lot of blady grass, moist areas, probably a pretty hard place to farm, I would suspect, but I'm not a farmer. So I knew a lot of families down there. I still know that those families are obviously gone because it's underwater. But up at the T section, so left Broome Pocket and Bergen Road, and right to now to the golf course, Gardeners Lane. Now my friend that passed away, Jane, which you remember me talking about, Jane Denver, she passed away about 3 months ago, we'll say, 2 months ago. She used to live down Gardeners Lane, her and her family, Gail, grandmother, and Mrs. Denver. So where you turn right, this plane crash, this jet aircraft over reoccurring dream, jet aircraft had crashed, and the road run downhill, and on the right hand side there was open farming land, which is all now, most of it's timbered. It was the Porter's farm. The jet aircraft had crashed down there and exploded into pieces down on that farm. Don't ask me why, or I always look at aircraft. But I started talking to a psychologist a couple of years ago about it, and she said, "Oh, that's a bit different." And I said, "Well, the other one, that's probably semi-violent, but the other one, violent at a distance, I suppose. The other one that was a reoccurring dream was I was in a cemetery, and back on the base of the hill, and the cemetery goes up the hill at about, we'll say, a 30-degree angle, and all these coffins would be hanging out of the hill, the ends of them, and strange, just coffins hanging out. So that was that one, and I talked to my psychologist about that. I thought that was a strange one, and but when you wake up from these dreams, you can be, though that real, I'll wake up with I'd nearly say heart palpitations. So strange, just strange. So I'm going to do a series of different dreams I have, and they're the two reoccurring ones. And the dreams, like I say, the recall. Some people can recall. I've talked to other people about it. They can't remember their dreams hardly at all. But you wake up, you think, "Oh, thank Christ, that's not real." And most people would probably say that about their dreams, whether they're being chased and can't run fast enough, and they're being grabbed at and they can't yell and they can't scream because they can't. Strange. And it's an interesting thing when you sit back and think about it. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. It's been like I say, she's been a wet few days down here. I don't know how much longer this rain's going to hang about, because we've got that low off of, I think it would have crossed the coast by now. I think it was crossing the coast by last night. So that's the remnants of an old cyclone. It doesn't get any more intense, and it just goes to rain depression, which is hence why I've had massive amounts of rain. Look, I'm going to leave it at that. I enjoy the rain. A lot of people don't like the rain, but I enjoy it. I love watching it. Love seeing the creeks come up and freshers going through the creeks around, and I like seeing the after effects of good wet weather in the properties, in the farms, and that now green the grass is now lush and everything becomes. And we've kicked off into a pretty wet summer here, and in southeast Queensland. I think we had one of the coolest years last year. The coolest year in the last 10 years, and very, very wet. I think it was good rainfall. This area here gets generally averaged about 2 metres of rain, 6 feet of rain a year, roughly, and for a lot of years we've been down to half of that. But this certainly quickly builds it up when you're getting massive amounts. I'm going to leave it at that. Have a nice day. I slept in this morning, so did Carl's. So we had a good sleep in, watching some Netflix and Stan last night, so that was good. Watching an Australian movie, so that was good, series. So I'm going to leave it at that. Sveno, Mick. Have a lovely day. Sveno, Mick out.